The McAllister family had always loved antiques. When they bought the old Caraway house at the edge of the town, no one cared that it had been abandoned for decades. Its peeling wallpaper, warped floors, and dusty corners only made it feel more authentic, more like a home with history. 12-year-old Clara was immediately drawn to the attic. It was a cavernous, shadow-filled space, filled with trunks, old furniture, and boxes labeled in faded handwriting. Most of the boxes contained clothes, photographs, or brittle letters, but one small, wooden chest caught her eye. Inside was a porcelain doll. Its eyes were a striking shade of green, almost lifelike, and its hair was a soft, golden curl, slightly matted with age. The doll wore a faded blue dress, adorned with lace that had yellowed over time. Its expression was neutral, almost serene, but there was something about the tilt of its head that made Clara shiver. She took the doll downstairs. "Mom, Dad, look what I found," she exclaimed. Her mother, busy unpacking, barely glanced at it. "Just an old doll, Clara. Don't play too roughly," she said, returning to her tasks. Clara ignored her, setting the doll on her bed. That night, she awoke to a faint sound, a soft, almost inaudible whisper. She rubbed her eyes and scanned her room. The moonlight spilled across her bed, illuminating the doll. Its green eyes seemed to glint in the darkness. "I must be dreaming," Clara whispered to herself, pulling the covers over her head. The next morning, she found the doll sitting upright in the middle of the floor. She had left it on her desk the night before. "Maybe I moved it without noticing," she told herself. But then more strange things began to happen. Small objects in her room shifted places. A pencil would be found on the windowsill. A book would lie open on the floor. At first, she thought it was the family cat, but the cat had been asleep on the rug the entire time. One evening, Clara's older brother, David, came into her room. "What's with this creepy doll?" he said, pointing at it. "It's just a toy," Clara replied defensively. "Stop being so mean." David smirked. "If it starts moving on its own, don't blame me." Clara laughed, but a cold shiver ran down her spine as she noticed the doll's eyes seemed to follow David as he walked out of the room. That night, the whispering returned, louder this time. Clara couldn't make out the words, but it sounded like someone calling her name. She sat up, her heart pounding, and swore she saw the doll's head tilt slightly, as if acknowledging her presence. Over the next week, things escalated. Clara would wake up to find the doll in different places, sometimes at the foot of her bed, sometimes on her dresser, sometimes even sitting on a chair in the kitchen. The whispers became clearer, though still indistinct, and objects around the house started to vanish. One night, Clara's parents were out at a dinner party. She was alone in the house, sitting in her room with the lights off, when she heard it again. Her name, clear as day, coming from the corner of her room. "Clara." She froze. The doll was no longer on the chair or desk. It was standing on the floor, staring at her. Slowly, its porcelain lips moved. "Come closer." Her blood ran cold. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. The doll's eyes glowed faintly green in the dark. It took a step forward, then another. Clara stumbled backward, tripping over her blanket, and ran toward the door. The hallway seemed endless. Every room she passed was empty, except for the doll, which appeared in every doorway she looked at, standing silently, watching her. Clara's panic grew. She felt as if the house itself was alive, guiding her, trapping her. She remembered the attic. Maybe if she got back to the attic, she could hide in the darkness among the boxes. She ran, her legs aching, and finally burst into the attic. The moonlight streamed through the small window, illuminating the old toys. She slammed the door shut behind her and leaned against it, gasping for breath. Then she heard a soft thud. Something was moving in the attic. "Clara," the whisper came again. She turned and saw it. The doll, standing at the top of the attic stairs. But its eyes, they were no longer green. They were black, like empty holes, staring straight into her soul. Its mouth opened in a grin that seemed impossible for porcelain. "I'm lonely." Clara backed away, tripping over an old trunk. She fell into a pile of newspapers, which scattered across the floor. The doll advanced slowly, step by step, as if savoring her fear. Clara's mind raced. She needed to get out. She scrambled to her feet, grabbing an old broom. She swung it at the doll, but it passed right through, as though she had swung at smoke. The doll's grin widened. "You can't leave, not yet." Desperation took over. Clara remembered seeing an old chest in the corner, locked with a rusty padlock. She ran to it, threw herself against it, and flung it open. Inside, buried under a pile of moth-eaten blankets, was another doll, smaller, similar in appearance, but clearly handmade, rough and uneven. She grabbed it and held it close. The whispers stopped, and for a moment, silence reigned. She heard a soft thud behind her. The doll she held began to glow faintly. Its small eyes, painted with crude green paint, reflected determination. Slowly, the other doll, the porcelain one, stopped moving, frozen in place. Its black eyes blinked once, then returned to green. The sinister grin faded. Clara didn't wait to see more. She ran down the stairs, threw open the front door, and ran into the night, clutching the handmade doll tightly. When her parents returned, she barely spoke, only shaking and pointing to the attic. The police and a local priest came, checking the house, but they found nothing unusual, only the old toys, the dusty boxes, and the attic, silent once again. Clara never returned to the house. The McAllisters sold it within a month, but she kept the handmade doll. She named it Lily, and it sat on her bedside table, always watching. Sometimes, late at night, Clara would hear a whisper, not from Lily, but from the wind, carrying the faint, porcelain voice of something that wanted her back. Even years later, Clara would wake up to find the doll in different places, but Lily always stayed by her side. Clara never understood why. She only knew that as long as Lily was with her, the other doll could never touch her. But deep down, she knew it was still out there, watching, waiting. And sometimes, just sometimes, she could swear she heard the soft creak of footsteps in the hallway, moving toward her room. The doll never left. The road was not supposed to exist. Ethan Miller had driven this highway dozens of times. Straight, boring, familiar. A 5-hour night drive to forget a bad week. Loud music, coffee burns on the dashboard. GPS on. Headlights cutting clean lines through the dark. Then the fog appeared. Not the normal kind. This fog rolled in like a living thing. Thick and sudden, swallowing the road in seconds. Ethan slowed, fingers tightening around the steering wheel. "Great," he muttered. The radio crackled. Music warped into static. Then a voice slipped through. "Don't stop. Whatever you do, don't stop." The signal died. Ethan frowned. He checked the GPS. No signal. The road signs vanished next. No exits. No mile markers. Just endless asphalt and trees pressing close on both sides, their branches bending inward like ribs. He told himself it was stress, fatigue, his mind playing tricks. Then he saw the car behind him. Its headlights were far back at first, 2 dull yellow dots in the fog. Normal enough, but they didn't move closer. No matter how fast or slow Ethan drove, the distance stayed the same. Too perfect, like a reflection. He changed lanes. So did the other car. His stomach tightened. "Okay," he whispered. "Not funny." He sped up. 80, 90. The engine screamed. The headlights behind him stayed exactly where they were. That was when the smell hit him. Burnt rubber. Metal. Blood. His heart began to pound. The fog thickened until the world shrank to the length of his headlights. The road ahead dipped slightly, and then he saw it. A crash. A wrecked car sat sideways across the road, its frame twisted, smoke curling from the hood. Glass littered the asphalt like ice. A body lay near the driver's door, unmoving. Ethan slammed the brakes. The car skidded but stopped inches away. His hands shook as he stared. The body wore a jacket just like his. Same color, same tear on the sleeve. Slowly, dread crawling up his spine, Ethan looked at the license plate. It was his. No, he breathed. No, no, no. The fog shifted. The wreck was gone. The road was clear. His car idled quietly, as if nothing had happened. Behind him, the headlights were closer now. Much closer. Ethan drove. The speedometer climbed again, but the road began to change. The asphalt darkened, cracked, patched over with uneven scars. The trees leaned lower. The air felt heavy, suffocating. The radio crackled back to life. This time, the voice was clearer. You didn't stop last time either. Ethan's chest tightened. Who is this? Static. Then, you saw him. You felt the bump. And you kept driving. Memory slammed into him like a fist. Rain. Months ago. Late night. A dark road. A shape in the headlights. A thud. Silence. He remembered sitting there, hands shaking, heart racing, then driving away. Convincing himself it was an animal. That there was no proof. No reason to ruin his life. The headlights behind him surged closer. You left him there, the voice said. Bleeding. Breathing. Watching your taillights disappear. The fog ahead parted. Another crash site appeared. Different angle, same result. Another body. Another version of the same moment. Every time Ethan passed one, the headlights grew closer. The road narrowed. The trees were almost touching now, branches scraping the sides of his car. Scratches screamed along the doors. He tried to turn around. The road behind him was gone. Only fog. Only headlights. Ethan screamed and pressed the gas harder. The speedometer needle snapped past its limit. The engine overheated. Smoke poured from under the hood. The radio whispered, softer now. Closer. This road only goes one way. The car began to slow despite his foot on the pedal. The headlights filled his rearview mirror. He could see the driver now. A pale face. Sunken eyes. Blood running from a crushed skull. The man smiled. Ethan's car died. Total silence. The fog thinned. They were parked on a quiet stretch of road under a pale dawn sky. Birds chirped. Dew clung to the grass. The headlights behind him were gone. Shaking, Ethan stepped out of the car. Police lights flashed ahead. Officers stood near a body lying in the road. His breath caught. The jacket was his. One of the officers turned and stared directly at him. You finally stopped, the officer said. Ethan tried to speak. No sound came out. The world tilted. When drivers pass that stretch of road at night, some say their radios crackle. Some say they see headlights that won't fall back. And sometimes, when guilt grips the wheel tighter than reason, a car simply stops in the middle of the road. Engine cold. Driver gone. As if the road finally took what it was owed. The town of Gray Hollow did not appear on most maps. Even when it did, the ink always looked faded, as if the paper itself wanted to forget the place existed. It was the kind of town people passed without noticing, a stretch of road swallowed by fog, surrounded by dead woods and silence that felt heavier than sound. Daniel Carter arrived there on a rainy October night. His car broke down exactly where the road narrowed and the trees leaned inward, their branches twisting like black fingers. The engine coughed once and died. The headlights flickered, then went dark. Daniel cursed under his breath and stepped out, rain soaking his jacket instantly. His phone showed no signal, not even emergency bars. That was when he saw the house. It stood beyond the tree line, barely visible through the fog. Old. Massive. Its windows were dark, except one on the second floor, glowing faintly yellow, like an eye that had just opened. Daniel didn't believe in signs or instincts. He believed in logic. And logic told him that standing alone on a dead road at midnight was worse than knocking on a stranger's door. As he approached the house, the air grew colder. The rain stopped suddenly, unnaturally, as if the sky itself had decided not to touch that place. The door was already open. He hesitated, then pushed it wider. Inside, the smell hit him first: dust, rot, and something metallic beneath it. The hallway stretched long and narrow, lit by flickering wall lamps. Old photographs lined the walls, their faces scratched out, eyes burned away. "Hello," Daniel called. His voice echoed, but the echo came back wrong, slower, stretched, like someone else was repeating it poorly. A woman's voice answered from deeper inside the house. "Come in. You're already here." Daniel swallowed and stepped forward. The door slammed shut behind him. He spun around, heart racing, but the door would not budge. No handle, no hinges, just smooth, aged wood. The woman appeared at the end of the hallway. She was tall, dressed in black, her face pale and sharp, eyes too dark to reflect light. She smiled, but the smile never reached her eyes. "You can call me Mrs. Hollow," she said. "Everyone does." Daniel tried to remain calm. "My car broke down. I just need a phone." Mrs. Hollow tilted her head. "Phones don't work here. Then I'll leave in the morning." Her smile widened. No one leaves Gray Hollow. The lights flickered, and suddenly the hallway changed. The walls stretched, the ceiling rose impossibly high, and the photographs began to bleed, dark liquid dripping down like tears. Daniel backed away, panic flooding his chest. "What is this place?" "This," Mrs. Hollow whispered, "is where unfinished people come." The floor beneath Daniel's feet shifted. He fell. He landed hard on wooden boards. The smell of mold was stronger here. He was in a bedroom, old, decaying, with a single bed and a mirror facing it. The mirror was wrong. It showed the room, but not him. Instead, it reflected another man sitting on the bed. Older, thinner, eyes hollow. The man looked up and screamed. Daniel turned, but the room behind him was empty. When he faced the mirror again, the reflection smiled. Days passed, or maybe hours. Time did not move correctly in the house. Daniel wandered endless corridors, each one changing behind him. Doors led to memories that were not his. Children crying in basements, women praying with bloody hands, men hanging from rafters, still twitching. Everywhere he went, whispers followed. "You stayed too long. You should have listened. She feeds on regret." Eventually, hunger drove him mad. He found a dining room where a feast lay on the table: fresh bread, steaming meat, red wine. He ate. The moment the food touched his tongue, memories flooded his mind. A hit-and-run accident. A man left dying on a wet road. Daniel's hands shaking as he drove away. The food turned to ash in his mouth. Mrs. Hollow appeared at the head of the table. "You remember now," she said softly. "That's why you're here." Daniel stood, rage breaking through fear. "You're not real." She laughed. The sound echoed through the walls, bending them inward. "Oh, I'm very real. I was born from guilt, from denial, from the lies people tell themselves to sleep at night." The house trembled. "You see," she continued, "Gray Hollow is not a place. It's a pause, a wound between moments. People like you slip into it when they pretend they didn't see what they did." Daniel tried to run. The hallway stretched endlessly, but no matter how fast he ran, he always ended up back at the same mirror room. Each time, the reflection looked more like him. Older, broken, smiling wider. The reflection began to speak without moving its mouth. "She will keep you until you accept it, or until there's nothing left to accept." Daniel smashed the mirror. The glass shattered, but instead of breaking, it bled. Thick, black blood poured onto the floor, forming shapes, hands reaching, faces screaming. The house screamed with them. Mrs. Hollow appeared behind him, her form shifting, growing taller, her limbs stretching unnaturally. "Denial is delicious," she hissed. "But acceptance, that's a feast." Daniel collapsed, sobbing. "I killed him," he whispered. "I left him." The house went silent. For the first time, the silence felt human. The walls began to crack. Light poured through the ceiling. The floor trembled as if the house were dying. Mrs. Hollow screamed, not in anger, but hunger. "No," she said. "Not yet. You still hate yourself." Daniel stood, shaking. "I do, but I won't hide from it." The mirror reformed behind him, whole again. This time it showed him, exhausted, broken, alive. The front door appeared. Daniel ran. He burst out onto the road, gasping. Morning light filtered through the trees. His car stood there, untouched. No house, no fog, no silence. Police later found him walking down the road, muttering apologies to no one. Gray Hollow vanished again. But sometimes, on lonely roads, when guilt weighs heavier than reason, a house appears in the fog, and a woman waits inside, smiling, hungry, patient. Because Gray Hollow never disappears. It only waits.